Hello, everybody. Welcome to this presentation. Today, we are going to analyze Bajaj Auto's annual report. So, this is the second company I'm analyzing. Previously analyzed Bajaj Hero Motors. So, today we are analyzing Bajaj Auto. My name is Dayanand Minashi. I'm an individual investor. So before we start, just a little disclaimer. The content of this video presentation is for educational purpose only. If you decide to use it for making any investment decisions, then you're doing at your own risk. Just a little, disclaimer. So before we start, I want to give you a little introduction. So the analysis that we're doing is based on the principles of the textbook Security Analysis by Ben Graham and David Dodd, classic 1940 edition. This is the same textbook that Warren Buffett used when he first learned about investment analysis. So if you've not read this book, I would strongly recommend that you purchase a Kindle copy and keep it always handy for reference. I always do that. It's really useful. And so, like initially, like if you've not read this book, you might find it like really, excuse me, like daunting because it has 851 pages and it can be somewhat dry. So what I've done is I've created a simplified version of this book called Security Analysis Study Aid Notes and Quiz Questions. It's available in Amazon, so this is how it looks like, and you can just search for it and you can get it. I can also show you how like a little bit about the content. So what I've done is I've created like this quiz questions for each topic. So so this is gonna keep give you like a little like a guide, like what each topic is all about, like like question 6, like what is earning power, like so this is somewhat in the part 1. So here you can see like how I have explained. Let me go there and so here I've shown like what's the earning power. So basically here I've given a little example of like two people who pass out from high school, they go to college, and how their earning power can change. So like that, I've explained each topic in a very simple English, so that way you'll be able to follow the book and understand the principles. So that's the main goal for that. So that's a little introduction. So now let's like visit a couple of more like topics before we start. The first thing I want to explain is the difference between investment and speculation. So like many times I've seen like people do all kinds of analysis, this that, but then they like approach invest like but they think they are investing actually, but they speculate. That means they are trying to figure out what other people are going to do, right? It's like buying a lottery ticket. So like it's like, oh, okay, if I buy this, so is it like 20 other people are going to buy this, and the price will increase. So basically, I mean, there's nothing illegal about it, but that's called speculation. Okay, so you're speculating, you're just like guessing. But investment is something totally different. So in that book they have said that an investment operation is one upon which thorough analysis promises safety of principal and a satisfactory return. That means the safety is more important here. The principal is safe, and then you get a satisfactory return based on the risk you're taking. Then operations not meeting these requirements are speculative. So one needs to remember this all the time. Whenever you're approaching, like doing investment analysis, trying to figure out if that company is right for you, is it the right investment. You need to understand in investment and speculation. So many times people speculate but they think they are investing. Now the second piece of thing that I always keep at my desk is Buffett's words of wisdom. So here in his 1987 Berkshire Hathaway shareholder letter, he mentioned this. So said like his investment philosophy. Like so, whenever Charlie and I buy common stocks for Berkshire's insurance companies, leaving aside arbitrage purchase discussed later, we approach the transaction as if we are buying into a private business. We look into the economic impact prospects of the business, the people in charge of running it, and the price we must pay. We do not have in mind any time or price for sale. Indeed, we are willing to hold a stock indefinitely so long as we expect the business to increase in intrinsic value at a satisfactory rate. When investing, we view ourselves as business analysts, not as market analysts, not as macroeconomic analysts, not even as security analysts. This is a pretty important concept. So basically, what he's trying to say is that when he's trying to analyze a business, like he's trying to buy a stock for his company, Berkshire Hathaway, he thinks as if he's going to buy the business. So it's like, let's say we are analyzing Bajaj Auto, okay? And so you need to approach as if you're going to buy the whole business of Bajaj Auto, okay? And you even if the stock market closes tomorrow and it doesn't open for next 10 years, you shouldn't be bothered because you're just focused on the business and the cash it produces. And what he's saying is it's the same concept needs to apply when you are buying a stock. It's just like you're buying a piece of that business, okay? Uh, that's the only difference. But what he's saying is if you keep your focus there, the stock market in long run is going to work out for you. That's not a problem. That you need to keep your focus there. You don't need to start thinking of what other people are doing, how the stock is increasing in short term or this or that. This is the same principle that has helped him to build his investment empire. And the you can see like he started in 1956 and in 62 years is like the best long-term record you can find anywhere. So that's a couple of things. That's one thing we need to remember. Second is in 2014 letter he mentioned a sound investment can morph into a rash speculation if it is bought at an elevated price. Berkshire is not an exempt from the truth. So what he's saying is pay attention to the price you're paying. Even if it might be a great company, his own company is saying, even if it's a great, but if after a certain point it becomes speculation. So, buying stocks in the discount is the core philosophy, he's trying to say. So these are the two things. So, now let's go forward and figure out what's the objective of the analysis that we are doing today. So the objective is to identify important aspects of the business for building a factor of safety around the valuation of the stock. So that's the objective. We're trying to achieve is like what are the things that we need to consider so that there is enough factor of safety when I evaluate Bajaj Auto. Okay, so we're going to do that, and we're going to look at the annual report. So this is you know I've created like a little index. Okay, so I've created an index where you can see what are the different parts of the annual report and how to go about. So the annual report is 217 pages, and we'll go step by step. So the first is it is the chairman's letter, and as usual, they have just a brief overview of how the company is doing and things like that. But what we will see first is we'll try to figure out how Bajaj Auto makes money. Okay, very simple, right? So that's actually given in the management discussion and analysis. So this is how it looks like. So you know, sorry. So that is in page 11. So you pull up the Bajaj Auto report. So you can get that in the Bajaj Auto's website, the annual report. It's pretty simple. So I've done that, and here is the management discussion and analysis. So it gives a brief overview of how Bajaj makes money. So I've taken some snapshots so that it's going to be easy. So Bajaj Auto produces two major things. Okay, this is where you need to be really careful I've seen that a lot of people just club Bajaj Auto as a two-wheeler company and just compare it, which is not correct because a big portion of its sales also comes from three-wheelers. The reason I'll try to explain you why it is important to differentiate right away at the beginning. So it makes two-wheelers and also it makes three-wheelers. Okay, and here they have just given the industry comparison and all. Now, the reason it is different is, so here you can see like what are the number of three wheelers they sold. They're trying to show, second, see here, let me pull it again. So here you can see they sold about this is a financial result of the company and sales in numbers, about 4 million uh, total vehicles, they have sold in 2018. Out of that, 600,000 were commercial vehicles. They call them commercial vehicles, but they are three wheelers. Now, think about it. The whole business of a three wheeler and two wheeler, they're like really a lot of fundamental differences. A two wheeler is mostly geared towards individual consumers. Okay, their buying trends, their things are kind of pretty different than the commercial side where you sell a three wheeler to let's say like an auto rickshaw driver or to small businesses who are carrying things. So their cyclicality is different. So their growth rates can be different. So a lot of things are different. So the fundamental part, the core philosophy that I try to emphasize is when you're analyzing a business, try to break it into independent parts, which which have independent characteristics. Do not club them because what happens is if you club them and you trying to figure out the growth rate, then actually you're not getting the right growth rate because the growth rate of the three wheelers might be totally different than the growth rate of two wheelers, and you'll not get a kind of that's a basic flaw in your analysis. So what I'm trying to say is that keep those two things in mind. So Bajaj Auto, it is selling two wheelers and three wheelers, and they export a lot also. So they're so here they've given the breakup of their exports and the domestic sales. So almost I think it is 2:1, and in 2018 they're like really coming close, like uh, out of of oh here sorry so here it's given out of 4 million, almost 1.6 million were the exports. So so that's the whole thing, how they're making money. Okay, so we kind of know, and here they've given a wide. We're going to look at the income statement later on. So here they've given a trend. So in 2009, their overall sales were about $9,000 crores. Sorry, and in but so it kept increasing. So they had good 2010, 2011, 2012. Then it became flat. So 2012 till almost 2014, you can see it was flat. Then again, they got a little bit increase in 2015, 16, 17, where again somewhat up and down, and then 18 again it went down. Now the reason I want you to pay attention to this long-term trend is, you see, it doesn't have a very gradual growth. There is ups and downs. So this only shows you the cyclicality of the auto two-wheeler and three-wheeler business, where it can be different. So you'll have to kind of pay, when you're trying to make your growth projections, you'll need to consider that the cyclicality part of the business. Okay, so that's one thing. And so here then they also have given the industry sales, how they have changed over the period, which is kind of they're following that. Okay, so then other than that, they have given a very important uh,